Earlier this week, the FBI expanded its investigation into the Biden classified documents with new searches at the president's beach home in Delaware. President Biden's personal attorneys say no new records have been found. Now, a little-known government body, the Public Interest Declassification Board, is behind a renewed effort to address a failing government record system. Board member Ezra Cohen told CBS News that Congress has been on notice about the problems for years. You sit on the Public Interest Declassification Board. What is the board's mandate?
The board has historically been under the radar, but certainly, the public shifting its attention to the handling of classified records has brought new attention to the board. The board is responsible for advising the president and Congress on ways to improve the classification and declassification system. And of course, this also includes the safeguarding of classified records.
You just finished a 2-year term as chairman. As chairman, did you warn congressional leadership that the record system was at breaking point?
The board sent a very pointed letter to then Speaker Pelosi, warning her that the investment and the funding of the record system was such that really, frankly, it was compromised.
Let's take that a step further. What do you mean by compromised?
Well, there's been an explosion in digital records and, frankly, classified records of all forms, really at the end of the 90s. And the investment in the record system has not come anywhere near to keeping pace. So what that means is we simply don't have enough people and resources to manage and handle all of these classified records.
What explains the lack of action by Congress?
Historically, this has been a fairly technical issue that, admittedly is not very flashy. And it's one of these things where maintenance has been deferred on this problem for many years.
Does the discovery of classified records at the residence of the current president, the former president, the vice president, is this a reflection of problems in the system?
Anytime classified information shows up outside of a secured space, it is cause for concern. We have a unique situation in the cases of former presidents and vice presidents in that they're also covered by the Presidential Records Act. And this implicates another issue, which is whether or not the presidential libraries and the staff that are tasked with handling presidential records at the end of a term are properly resourced. Again, in many cases, it's the same groups of people at the National Archives, and their numbers have not grown.
So what should be happening when you're having the transition of one administration to the other? Should you have people from the Records Department packing the boxes?
Well, I think that that's really one of the things that came up during the conference that we had last week. We had several former directors of presidential libraries who spoke about the fact that we need more trained archivists and experts to be involved in the handling of records at the end of a presidential administration. And again, unfortunately, funding has not only remained flat, but in some cases, actually funding has decreased at the archives for those people that are responsible for handling classified records.
It sounds like, based on the system deficits, that the U.S. government really doesn't have its arms around the records it maintains.
What this comes down to is the fact that you're right. We don't fully know all of the records or have a conscious understanding of all the records in our possession because the volume is so great, and we just don't have the systems to go through them in a timely fashion. And again, this isn't just about finding records where they shouldn't be. This is also about public transparency.
Does the U.S. government have an overclassification problem?
We do know that there has been an increased number of classified records that have been created. And the board's research and investigations over the past decade has shown that there is an increased frequency of overclassification.
The White House talks about records being marked classified, but does that really tell the whole story? Does a document have to have a classified marking to be classified?
Unless you review a document line by line under the current system, there's really no way to know if it's classified or not. The markings at the top of the page are only one indicator, but it's not a confirmation that the document actually contains classified information.
So you can have documents with no markings, but the intelligence is deemed classified.
Well, it's certainly possible that, an And we do see this. People can put information in documents that's classified and then not appropriately mark it.
What is the fix?
It comes down to, one, better resourcing. It's long overdue for Congress to take action and really fund this problem. The U.S. system is unique in the sense that there's an assumption that all government activities will ultimately be judged by the public, even if it's time delayed. And so the idea that we might have records that will never see the public light because we just don't have the resources to process them is frankly a threat to our democracy.